my name is Zara Hoffman. I'm the self-published author of 6 books, a young adult paranormal romance trilogy and a new adult sci-fi romance trilogy. And in today's short video, I'm going to be talking a little bit how I do mind mapping when I get stuck on a story. Say that this is for my story Kingpin Killers, which was being posted on Vella and is no longer going to be continued to be updated on Vella. You have until October 10th to read it all on there. Otherwise, you can just wait for it to be taken down, edited, published as a normal paperback and Kindle copy like all my other previous books. And the reason I'm talking about that, in addition to it being a PSA, is that I'm actually pantsing this story. I did have the 15th episode in my head for a very long time, but I was pantsing the start to get to that point, episode 15, and then I've been pantsing ever since. And this mind mapping is kind of my way to figure out what I want to do without having to do a full outline, because this story just seems to resist any attempts that I've tried to make with a chapter by chapter outline, as I've been doing with all my other stories recently. And if you want to know about some of the outlining methods that I have researched and kind of all combined into my own, I have a video all about outlining that I will leave linked up in a card and in the description down below. But I don't specifically use an outlining method which is able to be replicated, but I am going to be trying to in making it a guide that you'll be able to buy from my Ko-fi page. So just be aware that this is all very vague. I'm not going to be spoiling my own story, and this is after having written some of the story. So it's not a mind mapping visual version of an outline that could replace Save the Cat if that's what you normally use. So the first thing I do is I zoom in to make my writing easier. I really like it to line up with the dotted grid that I use. You can do blank paper, lined paper, or dotted like I do. You can see I am writing down some of the tent poles, you could say, of the story. Get's Mission is the first episode. Recon was basically episodes 2 through 14. Confrontation in Alley was episode 15, which I've had in my head for a very long time. I wrote C notes app because I had been writing down excerpts of it in my head for a long time as I've been getting them. Get's Mission, I wrote C old draft because I had started writing this a long time ago on Figment, back when that was a website even before Wattpad. And now I'm just bracketing it to show that those are the first 15 episodes, or chapters, however you want to think of it. And then the next 15 is being mapped out in a similar way. This hadn't been written yet at the time of my screen capturing this footage, but it has since been written and actually published on Kindle Vella, at least partially, through episode 20. I'm doing it in sets of 15 because I think this book is going to have around 60 chapters, and the reason I'm doing it in a 4-part structure and not even a 3-act structure like is normally done, or a 3-act structure with the second act being twice as long as the other two, like it is in Save the Cat, is because initially I thought this book was going to be a saga with 4 different parts, each their own book, before I decided to make it all into one book. I'm very happy to say that this decision came before I wrote all 4 books and had to combine it into one, like I did for the Belgrave Legacy. You are watching me on screen move lines around. That's one of the reasons why I like to mind map in good notes instead of on a piece of paper, because while you can erase stuff with a pencil, you still see the marks, versus this is all digital. So once something's erased, it's erased and you don't see echoes of what was there before. I just sped up the rest of my mind mapping here, which is kind of looking like the diagram that Save the Cat gives out, but like I said before, I'm not following that method. It's just the way that my brain decided to visualize it. Normally when I do an outline, it actually looks like a school paper outline. In the first row, I don't know if you caught it or not, but I do have in parentheses M lives or dies question mark because I hadn't yet decided what was going to happen. So below the plot mind map, I'm now doing a branched brainstorm, which is a diagram that is probably what you were thinking of when you clicked on this video after having read the word mind mapping in the title. So branch 1 obviously is yes, and branch 2 is no. I don't have a preference at the time of me writing this out. I still don't have a preference at the time of me recording this voiceover. I think because I'm pantsing the story, I will have to wait until I get closer to the time that this decision needs to be made before I make one, but this at least helps me think about the potential ramifications that each option is going to have. Below, I'm doing another does X character live or die because I couldn't figure that one out either. It is an independent decision from whether or not M dies, so I have not done it as an extension of the yes or no options from the previous branch, but in its own diagram, as you can see. I hope you enjoyed this video. This was suggested and requested by fellow authortuber Chandra Arthur. Her Ko-fi page will be linked in the description down below, and I want to thank my Ko-fi supporters at the authortube tier, Jarek, who was one of the founders of Ko-fi, and Violet, who has been awesome. And I also want to thank those at the VIP club tier, Crow, No Yami, and Regina Duke. Thank you so much for your monthly support. And if you would like to get some perks through my Ko-fi page, you can find out all the information at the link in the description down below. Bye!